Hey y'all, welcome to Light and Heavy. On this episode, we are heading to St. Louis. Oh, shoes. Hey, baby. Alright, hour one update. So far, so good, other than my eldest daughter is already crying because she forgot something at the house and wants it. Other than that, we're doing good. Hour two in, we've gone through the first crisis. My oldest daughter left her Elsa doll at home, so we had to kind of break that news. Thankfully, she's okay now, and both are coloring and having a good time. We'll check back in just a little bit. Update on hour four. We are back on the road. Made my first wrong turn. What are you gonna do? Okay, I have to talk a little quietly because the girls are asleep or falling asleep as I am recording this, but I can finally, now that they're asleep and this person doesn't need to be distracted for them, I wanted to introduce to everyone on the vlog the better half of me, the one, the only, my wife, Becky. Hi. Okay. So, just real quickly, tell them how we met.
Really quickly, let's see. We met in college. We lived in the same dorm building. You lived on the third floor. I lived on the first floor. He had met my suite mate across the bathroom and then was hanging out with her randomly, and I came back to my room, went across the bathroom for some unknown reason to go talk to her. Still don't remember why exactly.
I
don't know. Meant to be. Holy Spirit was like pushing me over there. And Jason was in there chatting with her, and we said hi and hit it off pretty quick. So that's the very short version right there.
Becky and I met in 2004, as she said. And so we've known each other since then. We got married in 2008, October 18th. So we're coming up on our 10th anniversary. And we've got a very special trip, honeymoon, or not honeymoon, second honeymoon. Could be a second
Sure,
honeymoon.
I hadn't really thought of it that way, but
for our 10th
be.
anniversary. We'll talk more about that later in the year, because I don't want to spoil that just yet. The first question I have for you is, what was the first pilgrimage you went on?
The first one that I can remember would probably be when I went to Laredo. I mean, that was like a retreat, but it was kind of like a pilgrimage too. Yes. Would that be? Was that more of a retreat? Would you consider? You know which one I'm talking about? Right?
Yeah, I wouldn't call that one a pilgrimage.
Okay.
That was more of like a mission trip / retreat.
Never mind. Then probably after that thing was the first one would have been the March for Life then. So that was back when we were in college. I wasn't even Catholic then yet.
Yeah, that's
Not
right.
quite, yeah.
Yeah.
I was on the path to that, but during my conversion. But yeah, I went with you and a group of other people from our diocese up to Washington, D.C. for the March for Life.
So have you counted how many pilgrimages you've been on?
I did not.
I was just curious.
No. I mean, it's a lot, but I would have to sit down and really think about that and make a list of them all. But they're addictive.
Which one, is there a pilgrimage that you've been on that like really stands out to you in your life?
I would say definitely to Italy. It's kind of hard because I loved the one where we went the second time when we went together, just us. Was amazing just because we got to just go see and experience so many things. But also the last World Youth Day where we got to go as a family with our kids, where we went back to Italy again, so got to experience all that again with our group and with our kids.
So
it was
just
amazing.
It was, but I will admit, reality hits. And one of the things that if you have a family and you go on a pilgrimage, mind you, we were crazy. Everybody called us crazy, and we knew we were crazy. And we look back and like, how did we do that? By the grace of God. We took a then 2-year-old,
and 2-month-old.
2-month-old. Catherine was 2.
Yeah.
And
well, we had planned, to go before we even knew little Catherine was coming along, so we'd already committed to it. We're like, all right, I guess we're taking a baby.
I was in charge of the group, so I had to go.
Yeah.
But what we were really excited about was when we went to spend time in Rome, we went to Assisi and got to go to the Basilica of St. Clare, where her remains, her body is there. And we were so excited because we get to have Claire to, be right up next to see her patron, her name saint, and all this stuff. And by the time we got up there, she was screaming and crying, and both Becky and I were like,
I had to come to grips with that because I had in my head like this beautiful moment we could tell her about someday. Like, we took you to see St. Clare at her basilica, and you got to experience this beautiful moment. But like, we're gonna be there praying together as a family right in front of her, and then. Yeah, like Jason said, in reality, we were waiting this long line. The kids were just screaming. Catherine was hungry, and
hot.
They were just
I remember
not
it was really
having a
warm.
good time. Yeah, it was really hot in there. It was rough. So we were like rushing to get through. We're like, can we cut in line or something? Anybody? Like, these kids are screaming. Come on.
So just. Try to taper
fine.
your expectations, but know that the most important thing is that you are there as a family and that you are receiving that grace that you wouldn't get anywhere else. So just keep
St. Clare was laughing.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, so one last question I have for you as far as the pilgrimage side of things.
Yeah.
What is it about pilgrimages that stand out to you? Like, why do you love going on pilgrimages? Why are they, if someone, a stranger or a family member asks, what is it about pilgrimages that you enjoy? How would you answer?
I mean, not gonna lie, part of it is like the travel aspect, that I like to go and just travel all around and experience different places and cultures and things. As a part of that, that's appealing, of course, but I think for me too, like I said, I'm a convert, and I think part of it that just is addictive and makes me just keep wanting more is just getting to go and see the universal church everywhere. I mean, for lack of a better word, that you can go, the next state over, you can go across the ocean, anywhere, and get to experience the Catholic faith, the Catholic Church, in all these different contexts, and just seeing the different church buildings and the culture and just the whole thing combined. That's one thing that sticks out to me. Why I personally love it.
Fun fact, I think, as I mentioned in episode 2, my wife is the one who is kind of the person that sparked the name of this vlog, this channel, Light and Heavy, and I know I've already talked briefly about the song, but why was it really important to you at that time when you came to me? I mean, I know the story, but for the audience.
Yeah, so during the last World Youth Day pilgrimage, we were overseas, and so backtracking, before we left for that pilgrimage, my grandmother was in very bad health. Like, we knew that
she was in the dying process.
Yeah, she was about going into like hospice care, and she didn't have much longer. So luckily, before we left, we got to go and see her, and basically we knew like that was gonna be the last time that I was gonna see her till we get to heaven. So that was very, very difficult, but beautiful. I'm so glad we got that chance to spend that little bit of time with her.
Yeah.
And so from there, we just kind of just see how long she has, type of thing. But I kind of expected it to happen while we were gone, realistically. So we were in the airport at Rome, getting ready to fly out from Rome to Czech Republic, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Czech Republic. And I got a message from my mom that she had passed away. So that was hard. We were in the hustle and bustle of the airport, waiting to get our bags checked, and there was issues with the baggage and tickets, and I'm wrangling the kids, and just everything was kind of crazy and chaotic. And then I get this message, this heavy news. It was hard to handle that and kind of manage the emotions and everything, and didn't want to make a big deal out of it. We were in this big group, but luckily Jason was very helpful. Obviously, when I told him what was happening, he's let me kind of have some little quiet time as I was able to, and just was very respectful of that, especially that day I found out, giving me some time to handle that news. But anywho, so that pilgrimage, getting that news pretty early on of losing my grandmother, and just knowing that she was in the dying process leading up to that as well while we were in Italy, it was very hard. That was a lot of the heavy part coming into it, and then getting the news that she passed away. So just while we were traveling to all these different holy sites during that pilgrimage, getting to use that opportunity to pray for my family, for my grandmother's soul, for just all the hurt that we were feeling, the pain of
the loss.
The loss, exactly.
Yeah. The
loss of her life, because that was my last grandparent. It was also really hard, and we were really close to her my whole life. So getting to offer up those prayers and those intentions while we were away in these amazing places where you can't help but kind of feel closer to God in those places was really powerful, and that was a lot of the light that brought a lot of lightness to my soul and to my heart during that really hard time where I could have just been really down about it and had a really, really rough time. That brought some levity to the whole situation. So that's when we got home, I was reflecting on that a lot with the song, the words of the song, but also just how that affected me on our pilgrimage.
Okay, we just crossed Missouri, exit 1, and it's raining, if you can hear from before. Okay, so now let's switching gears. What do you do? Well, you're not, just being an amazing wife and mother.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so wife, mom, 2 little girls. Get to stay at home with them, which is amazing. And in all my free time.
Be real.
Yes.
Be real.
It is. It has its challenges. It's driving me a little crazy sometimes, but it's good. It's what I want, so.
No, I know it's what you want, but you made it.
But yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
You just, it was a little too sugary for me.
It's just rainbow and sunshine. We're about to start dabbling in some homeschooling, so that'll be a new adventure for our day too. But on top of all that, I am a cookie decorator. So mostly when the kids are sleeping at night, for the most part, I bake and make frosting and decorate fancy cookies for all kinds of different occasions. So
again, she's going to be too modest. She is a phenomenal cookie decorator. I am always in awe of her creative artistic ability. This whole business was started how long ago?
I was thinking about that. It's almost 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just started. She's a home baker, like we said, and there's a lot more. This is kind of a growing business, would you say? Just like a home business, if you will.
Yeah.
For stay-at-home parents, but man, she is amazing. In fact, hang on. So she, for our first family pilgrimage to on the blog, she made these. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that amazing?
Oh my goodness.
And they're amazing. Taste just as good as they look. In fact, I think they taste better. Well, I don't want to say that because they're beautiful. In fact, the number one comment I hear people talk about with her cookies is they're so nice that they don't want to eat them.
Yes, which is so sweet, but I'm like, please eat them.
But I mean, that's a huge compliment.
Yes.
To your creativeness. And
yeah.
It was the girl that it was like weeks. She didn't hang out on a wall or something like that.
There was the girl. I made like cheerleader cookies for a cheer squad, and this one girl, I heard later, didn't want to eat it because she thought it was so pretty, and so she just kept it in the little cookie bag and like in her room because she just thought it was so pretty and didn't eat it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. But yeah, don't go and eat it now. That's a little too late. But
I'll leave what's the name of your business?
Oh, that'd be good to say. So it's called Dolce's Cookies, and I named that after Mama Mary, partly. Long story short, years ago I had the idea of like, oh, it'd be cool to have like a bakery someday because I love to bake. But every time we would sing the Salve Regina in Latin, we would get to the end, the old Dulcis Virgo Maria, and so knowing that Dulcis meant sweet in Latin, I was like, that would make a really cool name for like a bakery someday. So that when I decided to start my own cookie business, I remembered that, and here it is, Dulce's Cookies.
I'll leave information down below in the description. I will say though, basically she can't ship them. I'm sorry. The home bake laws in our state, which we live in Texas. So I would say just if you live in the North Texas area, we'll just leave it at that because I don't want to get too specific because then I don't, not that I don't trust you, but I don't trust you. Just kidding. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, by the way. But if you live in the North Texas area and you would like more information, I'll leave information down below. I'll also leave her Instagram. So that way, even if you can't get the cookies, you can at least admire her amazing talent and just, eat with your eyes.
Yeah. Who doesn't like looking at pretty cookie pictures?
That's the other thing I always hear anytime that we have family or friends talk about hers. They're like, I love seeing your Instagram feed. So again, just a huge kudos to you.
Oh, thank you.
Last thing for now.
Yeah.
Have you been to St. Louis before?
No. I've driven through.
Okay.
Like on our way up north for family vacations, but just on the road, but never been in the city.
Okay. So this is her first time. This will be my second or third time. But I'll talk about later to y'all what we're going to do and just some interesting information. So be right back.
All right. Bye. TTFM. Ta-ta for now.
Okay, I have just a couple of minutes. My girls are in the pool here at the hotel and I want to go join them with the fun. So just real quickly, the reason why we're here for this pilgrimage, the place we're praying at, are at the two main cathedral basilicas, the old Cathedral Basilica and the new Cathedral Basilica. Just, I guess, really briefly, I'll try to explain a little bit more later. The old one is really the oldest church and the oldest church structure, but the oldest church in St. Louis. When they had settled St. Louis, obviously they founded St. Louis under the name St. Louis, Pope St. Louis, or excuse me, not Pope, what am I saying? St. Louis, he was a king, King Louis the Ninth. In France. He lived in the 1200s. He basically helped establish or kind of unify France. He also was able to defend France against England at the time during that time when he was really the only one successfully able to invade England and defeat England on their homeland and just kind of keep them at bay. But one of the things really important about him was he became the king when he was 12 years old. So imagine being king of a country at 12. His mother kind of, looked after the country, but when he became of age, he immediately took it over and was seen as a very good king, a very gentle king. He led a couple of crusades. He was very devout to the church, but also wanted to rule France very well. And so he would invite the poor and eat with the poor. He would keep tabs on the homeless and those that were in need, children's orphanages, the widows, anybody that needed it, he would help them. He was a third order Franciscan, which meant he was a lay Franciscan, so he's a patron saint of Franciscans. And the amazing thing, and this is very providential, we are going to be going to these places, and I didn't plan this, but again, providential, on his feast day. So tomorrow is his feast day when we go to these cathedrals and these basilicas. It's just, I love how God works like that. So the old one is considered, it was seen as, St. Louis has the big arch, right? And it's seen that's kind of like the gateway into the West. And it's sort of the beginning of west of the Mississippi. And so the church, the old Cathedral Basilica of St. Louis, is right there. So if you go to the arch, right next to it is the old cathedral, and we'll go there tomorrow. And then the main one, the new one, if you will, is the Basilica Cathedral as of this day. And what's unique about that one is it is on the Western Hemisphere side. It's probably, I think it is the most mosaic church, and I'll talk about what mosaics are tomorrow, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. And we're gonna go to mass there tomorrow morning, and then I'll try to take as much footage for y'all and then talk a little bit about what mosaics are. So anyways, that's enough me blabbing on. I'm gonna go be with my girls and have fun with them. I'll see y'all in the morning.
Kids, I'm gonna tell you an incredible story. The story of how I met your mother.
Are we being punished for something?
No?
Yeah, is this gonna take a while?
Yes.